I said serious policy, and I'm going to think about this in phases. When a party is trying to get elected, they have a platform that I hope contains a bunch of serious ideas. But the real first test of how serious those ideas are is when you get into government and you give them to the bureaucracy to implement. And the role of the bureaucracy then is to pressure test those ideas and to tell us what's doable. But when you get about 2 years into the mandate and you've run out of things in the platform, then the role kind of switches. It tends to switch in most governments where the ideas are now generated from the bottom, by the bureaucrats and rise to the politicians, as opposed to starting with the politicians and falling down. So I tend to think about where the ideas are generated in phases. So in the early mandate of a government, they come from the political platforms, but as a government matures, those ideas tend to be generated by the bureaucracy, and there's different kinds of ideas. I mean, a government, there's sort of maintenance things that need to be done by governments, and there's things you need to maintain policy and update policy, and those are the kind of midterm things. And then there's these new ideas and these polarized or non-polarized debates that we have, and those tend to come in the beginning of a mandate. So when you're thinking about ideas that you're working on, think about ideas in those terms. Like, what kind of an idea are you thinking about? Where would it fit in the phase of a government? Because I think the role of the bureaucrat really shifts during a 4-year phase of a government, and the role of political staff really shifts. I mean, they become responsive to the bureaucrats more often, and so I think that's hopefully helpful in terms of thinking about how policy is done.